over 10,000 participants in this conference, and I welcome you all. We have in the meeting ground between big data, connectivity, and artificial intelligence, we have vast opportunities. And we have huge industries springing up from, as if from nowhere, almost instantaneously. You know, we didn't have a car industry in Israel. We tried. We actually built fiberglass cars. They crashed. I don't mean on the road. I remember as a young officer, one of my fellow officers, who's now our ambassador in China, he had a fiberglass car with which we drove to breaks, weekend breaks from our unit. And one day I leaned on the car and my elbow smashed into the fiberglass. And that was our car industry. It didn't last long, as you could imagine. Now we have a different car industry. We have about 500 companies, startup companies, that are creating the software for the new automotive industry, for driverless cars, and for all the other applications that are changing, going to revolutionize this industry. Here's an opportunity. Here's also a problem, because with the interconnectivity of cars and all the changes that you're well familiar with, you need cybersecurity. So here's another industry that's springing up here very quickly, very rapidly. It's called digital health. Israel happens to have one of the two best databases for its population in the world. And because of that, we have twin opportunities. The twin opportunities are preventive medicine on a vast scale in vast efficiencies, and also personalized medicine with fantastic productivity. But there is a problem with this new industry. It's called cybersecurity. And the same opportunities and challenges are everywhere. They're in every field of commerce, they're in agriculture, areas of security itself. Cybersecurity is a prerequisite. It's not going to solve the extent of the problems that we're going to encounter, because the Internet of Things is going to create so many connections, so many trillions of connections, that it is virtually impossible to address them. We'll have to have many, not a solution, but an infinite number of solutions, or an attempt to create solutions again and again and again. You're in a wonderful business. It's endless. But it requires, obviously, gearing up for these specific challenges. In a way, not in a way, in every way, it's a new kind of warfare. Very different from what we've seen before. A century ago, soldiers hunkered down in trenches, and in tragic circumstances, they slaughtered each other by the thousands, often by the hundreds of thousands. And of course, 70 years ago in World War II, bombs rained down from the sky and civilians were slaughtered by the millions. Today, warfare has changed, again, dramatically. I don't mean just physical warfare of the kind I just described. I'm talking about the capacity, and it's not imaginary, it's not futuristic, and it's not exaggerated. It's moving very rapidly to a situation where, with the click of a button, you can bring down nations to their knees very rapidly, if you so desire, and if you're willing to take the risks, because every system can be hacked. Our airplanes, our hospitals, our cars, our banks. Actually, the most important word here is our data banks. They can be hacked. And the possibilities of sabotage and worse are all there. So this new type of warfare gets more complicated by the day. And I believe it's no coincidence that you're all here in Israel. Again, over 10,000 of you from 5 continents. because you recognize that Israel is a world leader in cybersecurity. We realized, as Aviatar said early on, that our small geographic size need not limit our cybersecurity capabilities. In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think because we're small, we have that power. We're small and concentrated. So there are a lot of fine young people, which means fine young brains, that interact. So here's a secret. Here's the non-cyber secret of the cyber age. People still need to meet. Yeah, you can get things online. But when they meet these brilliant people from different disciplines, and they meet regularly in a small space, you actually get results that you're not going to get just by clicking away. Can you get that? I mean, that's completely contrary to what your whole industry is about theoretically. It's not. It's the meeting of teams, small teams. They see each other, they look each other in the eye. Sometimes their looks are glazed. I can tell you, I met some of these people. But they look each other in their own way, they talk to each other, and they get these fantastic results. So Israel has this concentration of very talented people who meet and come from different disciplines. And I thought that this is a tremendous opportunity because we have, of course, the military experience that unites most of them. And now the companies that are budding out, hundreds of startups, all in a very small space. So a few years ago, I set the goal for Israel of becoming one of the top 5 cybersecurity powers in the world. It's a goal we have met. I deliberately decided to place our national cyber headquarters right next to Ben Gurion University. In fact, it's on the university campus. And so the world has the opportunity to bring the greatest cybersecurity firms to that small area in Beersheba. Beersheba used to be known for camels and palm trees. It's from the days of Abraham. But now Beersheba means 7 wells. Now there are wells of human creativity and cyber creativity. Everybody works together there in a small space. The government, academia, the private sector, the best young minds we have. In fact, I was showing Steve Forbes, of Forbes magazine. I took him there a few years ago and just showed him this explosion that is happening there in all these companies. And one of these young people looks familiar. And I said, "Who are you? I recognize your face." And he says to me, "Prime Minister, you don't remember me? I was your NSA briefer, the Israeli NSA briefer." And I said, "Yeah, and what are you doing now?" And he looked at me and he said, "Now? Now I'm rich." We are working together, all of us, to keep our country safe and our companies, and we should be working together to keep your country safe and your companies. We're developing and sharing incredibly powerful technologies, incredibly powerful, to fight back against the threat of cyber warfare, which is a growing threat by the day. Today, Israel receives roughly 1/5 of the world's global private investment in cybersecurity. 1/5, it's about 20%, and given that we are 1/10 of 1% of the world's population, which it means we're punching about 200 times above our weight. Not 2 times, not 10 times, and not even 100 times. 200 times above our weight, which means there's something here that defies numerical size. And as I told you, I think it actually works to our benefit that we have this concentration of talent here. This is just the beginning, because every day we're making new breakthroughs. Every day we're expanding our capabilities. Every day we're exploring new opportunities. I have a list of do's and don'ts. Let me start with the big don't. The big don't is don't over-regulate. And that is a constant battle, because in this industry, as in any industry, and especially one that is related to defense capabilities, the temptation to regulate is enormous. The temptation to over-regulate is even bigger. And so there are pressures constantly coming, for good reasons, from our respective bureaucracies to over-regulate. And if there's been any effort that we've been involved with, and I include both Eviatar and Eli Gruner, the Director General of the Prime Minister's Office, and my Chief Economic Advisor, Avi Simchon, they've all used their elbows to fight back, because once you begin to over-regulate, you'll constrain the enormous growth potential in this industry. And obviously there's trade-offs here. We understand that. But we are committed, and I am committed, to the continued growth of the cybersecurity industry. So the first don't is don't over-regulate. The second and the third and the fourth are the do's. The first do's is help. Help where you can to stimulate growth. We've done something I don't do. I mean, very much, if you can characterize, be a free marketeer. But I have done here something that we've seldom done, and that is to give focused tax breaks for a specific industry. We said, we'll give you tax breaks if you employ employees in Beersheba. We want to establish Beersheba as the cyber capital. Well, will suffice, the Eastern Hemisphere will be fine. Okay? So we are giving these tax breaks to employees, Israeli employees or foreign employees, which we welcome. We welcome, on the contrary. We think it'll be a great investment on your part to have people from your companies, your countries, come for a few years to work with our companies, and we're trying to make things easier for them with spouses, for example. That's another break that we're doing. It's another do, because we think it's the best way to use human knowledge to have this interactivity. I have to tell you that the story of Israel's high-tech success is definitely rooted in our experiences in the military, but it's also rooted in the experiences of Israelis who went to the other Silicon Wadi, you know, the one there, spent a few years there, came back, and the invaluable experience that they gleaned there helped create our own high-tech industry. So by all means, bring your people here. They'll be welcomed with tax breaks and other things that can make their lives here, the lives of their families as well, comfortable and productive. The third thing that we're doing are benefits. We're giving benefits from the chief scientist and our cyber directorate to companies that are coming here. The fourth, we have special programs for comfortable landing for companies that are coming here. I think that NEC is now experiencing that, IBM, Cisco, obviously. We're trying to make it easy for companies to establish themselves here. Many have established research centers. I think it's a great potential opportunities. And the last is we're developing our own human resources, our own young men and women in various educational programs in the Army, but not only in the Army, elsewhere. And what we're trying to do is capitalize on the fact that we have these people in programs that require rapid problem solving, rapidity of problem solving, and out-of-the-box thinking. These are not just words. There's a national culture, and we want to make sure that we have more and more people who are capable of doing this. So we think this is something we can share with you, and we invite you to share with us your experiences, because I believe that by working together, we can more effectively defend against the forces of terror, this cyber terror that threaten us all. When I said terror, actually there's a linkage between the forces of terror now and the use of the cyberspace. You see it most effectively or most tragically in ISIS, its use of cyber tools, its ability to recruit young people with vulnerable dispositions. It's also possible to fight them using these tools of big data, connectivity, and artificial intelligence. The same tools they use can be used against them and are being used against them with great effectiveness. I won't go into that. Iran attempts to hack critical infrastructure in the region and in the countries of the West, many countries not in the West. The Internet of Things can be hijacked by nefarious actors for dangerous purposes with dangerous results. Again, what you see today is going to get a lot worse in the future if we don't band together. That's why I intend to raise the subject and discuss the subject of cooperation in cybersecurity in my upcoming visit in Washington with President Trump. I had here a visit by Rudy Giuliani, who's a special advisor to President Trump on cybersecurity. We discussed some of these aspects, but again, I think that Israel and the United States, that are two leading powers, the United States obviously the leading power in the battle for cybersecurity, Israel, I would say, right up there. I think it's critical that we augment whatever each of us is doing alone by our cooperation, both on the government-to-government level and what we can do with our cybersecurity industries. It's not possible, as yet, to have a very broad cooperation for cybersecurity between many governments. But it is important to have cooperation between some governments, and especially like-minded governments. And that germination, I think, can come out of this discussion between President Trump and myself. We've already had important discussions with the U.S. government, but I think we need to expand this and recognize that there's a core interest of the civilized countries and the democratic countries to protect themselves and their citizens against cyber attacks. The more we work together, the stronger and safer we'll become. I encourage everyone here to invest in Israel, cooperate with Israeli companies. I'm sure you recognize the spirit, you sense it, it's powerful and strong and friendly. I think we're truly sitting on the cutting edge of this new technology, and we've had many successes in ensuring our security. It's not an accident, as one would say. It's not an accident that in the froth and gushing of this entire Middle East and beyond, Israel is a secure and safe island. We have invested in our security in creative ways, successful ways, not only in the digital area, sometimes in the physical area. And having said that, I spoke about our security fence the other day. You may have noticed it. And I take this opportunity to explain or clarify what I did and did not say in my tweet the other night. I thought you'd be interested in that. I did point out the remarkable success of Israel's security fence, but I did not comment about U.S.-Mexico relations. We've had and will continue to have good relations with Mexico, and I believe our ties are much stronger than any passing disagreement or misunderstanding. And in fact, I've had a long and fruitful and very friendly relationship with Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto, and it will continue. We stand, all of us, at the nexus of big data, connectivity, and artificial intelligence. Great opportunities, but great challenges. In Israel, we're exploiting these opportunities, and we're meeting these challenges. I invite you to do both with us. And it's my ardent hope that the nations around the world will come together to defeat our common threats and seize our vast opportunities. There is no better place to do so than the State of Israel. Welcome and much success. Thank you.